Hey guys, how's it going? Today, I'm going to be featuring the Prinz Rupprecht, the new Tier 8 German battlecruiser that has just left early access, and well, now you can research the entire line. Of all the researchable tech tree battleships in the game, I definitely think the German battlecruisers are definitely my favorite since I very much enjoy brawling and secondary builds, and as of right now, the Prinz Rupprecht has the best secondaries in the game, having a very long range and having the accuracy to be very effective. The accuracy is slightly less than that of Massachusetts, but also significantly more accurate than the normal German battleship line. Something else about the Prinz Rupprecht is that it has sonar, and when comparing it to the other Tier 8 German battleship, the Friedrich der Grosse, the FDG has a 1-minute sonar with a 6 kilometer ship detection range, while the Prinz Rupert has a 2-minute sonar that has a 5.7 ship detection range. So you lose about zero point 0.3 kilometers of detection, but you gain an entire minute, which allows this battleship line to push in extremely aggressively and be able to get into those close range engagements where these German battlecruisers shine. If you're ever in a division or your random teammates are able to work together as a team, you will pretty much be unstoppable. The secondaries, if you push in, can definitely shred destroyers, especially if they stop paying attention to you. The accuracy and the rate of fire of the secondaries allow it to shred destroyers and any lightly armored ships. And if we compare it to any of the other secondary battleships in the game, the rest of them, even though they may have the fire rate, they definitely don't have the accuracy, even when using the secondary booster. The only ship that has accuracy is the Massachusetts, because those are fairly laser beams. However, the rate of fire just lets down your secondary DPM so much that it's not as effective as one would hope. The German battlecruisers definitely give you the best of both worlds when it comes to secondaries, and even the main battery accuracy, since it does have battlecruiser dispersion. In this game, I am using Megatron, and I don't have any accuracy mods or commander skills. I am using a full secondary build, and you will see throughout this game, we will get some pretty good accuracy. On the broadside Bismarck, I was able to get 7 penetrations out of 8 guns, so you can definitely tell, even at that medium to long range, these guns are still very accurate. With their destroyer gone, we can now push into this enemy Sovietsky Soyuz and this enemy Siegfried who's just sitting bow in. The Siegfried's 380mm guns will not overmatch our 27mm bow, however the Sovietsky Soyuz can, so he will be our primary target. As I push in, I do switch to torpedoes, and you can see how good the torpedo angles on this ship are, and they are 7.5 kilometers, which is further than ships like Tirpitz. Also on the Prinz Rupprecht, you do have 8 torpedoes per side, which is an upgrade from Zeton. This Sovietsky Soyuz stopped reversing and actually started coming forward, and I think he is going to try and ram instead of trying to just stay bowing and reverse. As he turns in for the ram, I also turn my ship, and well, trying to ram a battleship that has 8 torpedoes on each side is just a very bad idea. And unfortunately, as I was pushing in, my sonar did go down, so I was unable to spot these Siegfried torpedoes further away, and I do eat one, forcing one of my limited damage controls. Fortunately, this Siegfried is just sitting broadside for some reason, and I am able to citadel him, chunking him for most of his HP. Now, if I just simply stay angled, he will struggle to do any damage unless he shoots my superstructure, which again, probably won't deal that much damage. As he tries to bow in, we can overmatch his bow. Prinz Rupprecht is definitely accurate even though you have a full secondary build, which is something that I do miss out on when I do run some full secondary builds on my Massachusetts. But as of right now, this ship is quickly becoming my favorite ship to use in the game. The Siegfried stopped reversing and actually started pushing forward. which I was assuming he was going to launch torpedoes. However, as he started pushing in, my secondaries were actually able to destroy his torpedo tubes, and well, without any torpedoes, Siegfried again was not able to do a whole lot of damage. At this point in the game, we are at 132,000 damage with over 300 secondary hits. Unfortunately, in World of Warships Legends, secondary damage does not get you the same amount of XP as, say, shooting a ship with your main battery, which is understandable considering that secondaries are automated. I am left wondering how well you could possibly do with secondary battleships and secondary builds if XP was granted the same as main battery damage was. I posted a video a couple of days ago of the Z-Tin, and I was actually able to get 4 close quarters experts in one game. And also my secondaries did shred 2 Summers, which at the end of the game, even though I got a Kraken, only had about 1800 base XP, which seemed definitely very low considering I had to kill off 2 destroyers, which I did majority of the HP on both of them. Now I'm not really sure how much XP less you would get for secondary damage compared to main battery, but after that game it is definitely something I am wondering about. As I pushed in, I did use the island to try and get a little closer to this enemy Kansas instead of pushing straight out in the open. I also wanted to use that opportunity to start healing up a little and also try to use this large island to protect me from any shots from the rest of this Kansas's team that is somewhere in the middle of the map. I slowly keep pushing forward towards this Kansas. He is well within my secondary range and really will not be able to escape before he dies. Now, as long as we keep moving and don't make ourselves a stationary target, the Kansas will definitely have a difficult time hitting the parts of our ship that are overmatchable. And as we move slowly forward, we can keep some maneuverability and make sure that our secondaries are just simply farming this Kansas. We are nearing 400 secondary hits, and well, this Kansas is just panicking with the shower of shells that are just heading his way. The enemy battleship in the middle of the map does lob the island and chunks us for a bit of HP. Checking what it is, it's a Vladivostok and the remaining destroyer is a Friesland. Our friendly destroyer in the middle of the map has ended up dying, and our other battleship on the other side of the map does end up ramming a Musashi. So now we are in a 3 versus 2, which will quickly turn into a 2 versus 2. With the enemy team having the cap majority, we will need to be relatively quick in killing off this enemy Vladivostok, and then either finding the enemy Friesen or having to defend and capture bases so that we can win on points. All the enemy Friesen really needs to do is simply defend their objectives and basically reset us and run away. As I push around the corner, the Vladivostok has pushed in relatively close, and he is already within torpedo range. I turn bow in as I come around the corner instead of trying to use the torpedoes on my right side, just trying my best to mitigate damage, and while he is reloading I can find the angle to launch some torpedoes. I ping where this enemy Friesen does start shooting me from in hopes that our friendly Piotr does start heading north to Charlie so that he can deal with the enemy Friesen while I am dealing with the Vladivostok. Unfortunately, our friendly Piotr does push out broadside to this Vladivostok, and he is nearly death struck. He is extremely lucky that he's not dead, and right now, since he's almost dead, he pops his sonar in a panic. My secondaries do start opening up on the Friesen. Now I have 2 choices here: to try and kill off this Vladivostok as quickly as I can, or try to shoot the enemy Friesen that's farming me. As of right now, my biggest fear is the Vladivostok, since he can definitely overmatch my bow, and while dodging these Friesland shells, I did become a stationary target, so the Vladivostok would have definitely chunked me, possibly for the remainder of my HP. As I start pushing towards Bravo, I start pinging the map for this Piotr Bagration, basically just trying to let him know where this last destroyer is. Now, at the time, I definitely didn't think the Piotr had panic radared. I was actually thinking the Friesen had reversed a little too far and accidentally got himself spotted. So as I push in and get spotted, I try to tell my Piotr to radar, but he literally doesn't radar, so I just thought he either used it all or just simply didn't understand. After he pushed out broadside to the Vladivostok and pretty much lost all his HP, he has so very little that I am worried the Friesen will simply gun him down and end up capturing Charlie, and well, basically we will lose the game after that. I turn my ship into Bravo in order to contest and eventually capture it, giving us more points. Our friendly Piotr is still pushing in and he will be able to contest the cap before they flip it. All we can really do now is just simply wait and see if this Friesland gets spotted accidentally, because our Piotr is pushing in and the cap is still contested. Now, if the Friesland leaves the cap like he did, all this Piotr would really need to do is turn towards Bravo and basically just sit in between the two caps, and if one of them ends up getting contested, he can either use his third radar if he has it, or we can simply push into the objective, forcing him out, especially since he does not have torpedoes. The Friesen does start opening up on our low HP Piotr, and I do aim quickly and fire a salvo. I do land a few shots, however, it does not kill him off, and now the Piotr is slightly less HP than he was, and the Friesland is still healthy enough to be able to gun down this Piotr. I do start telling him to get back because he looks like he wants to try and chase this enemy Friesland when he has no HP. This late in the game and the points being so close, or if our Piotr dies, it will definitely flip the points in such a way that we might not actually be able to come back even though we have two caps. So pretty much right now I'm basically panicking because this win is so simple. All our Piotr really needs to do is just not die. However, he is still chasing the enemy Friesland. If I was in the Friesland's position, I would try to use the islands that have small gaps in order to spot the Piotr and shoot him in between, and going unspotted after you shoot, since there is only really a small gap to be spotted. The Friesen gets spotted kiting away, and well, I take one more shot at him, and the Piotr is still pushing. He will be coming around those islands to this Friesland broadside. He does pop his radar, and well, now I just have to pray that our Piotr does not die to the Friesland. We were able to get the Friesen very low. He is less than 1 bar of HP. Our Piotr shoots at him and leaves him on a sliver, and it seems like the Friesland is actually struggling to hit our Piotr. So now I have a better feeling, and well, our Piotr is actually able to kill off the Friesland. Definitely did get me squeezing a little there at the end, but we do in fact come out on top with a win. Just short of a Kraken, however, I am just happy that we were able to win that game instead of it being a loss. 3200 base XP in the Prinz Rupprecht and 231,000 damage with 599, basically 600 secondary hits. I think this is the most secondary hits that I've ever gotten in a standard battle. Going into my commander build, I am still using Megatron as my main commander for the German battlecruiser line. We still don't have a skill to increase the amount of damage controls. However, I do think it will still be in that third row. So really, if you chose more damage controls, you'll have double fires in the middle of your ship quite often. So really having 40-second fires and 1 fire in the middle of your ship does save your damage cons a lot better. But that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more, and share with your friends, or leave a comment down below for any other ships you want to see in the future. But until next time, aloha.